welcome to another episode of For the Streets. I'm Angela Keiko.
And I am Rob Petree, and we are so ready to watch what we went to just the other day. And that is the RV show, which I got to tell you, watching the footage back, it was just incredible. I have never been to an RV show. See, I had no idea what to expect. I got to tell you, I am ready. Forget about getting a mortgage. I'm ready to just get an RV, park it here for as long as I'm going to be here in Buffalo, which I hope's for a while, maybe until I retire. And then I've got that RV there, which is like a mansion on wheels, some of them, and just head on down to the Grand Canyon. You know what I mean? Like I was really impressed to see how elaborate some of them weren't you?
Yeah, right after I sold my house, before I got my apartment, I seriously considered getting an RV and just living in it.
So you were ready to go to the RV show. I knew you were. I was wondering why you were so uber excited to go in there, and that was why.
Yeah, TikTok was showing me all these videos of people that live out of RVs, and they're living the lavish life. They can go wherever they want, whenever they want to, and I don't know where I eventually want to settle. Somewhere warmer, that's for sure, but I'll never know unless I live in a couple different places. I can never really know. I've only lived in Buffalo.
Yeah.
So I did seriously consider,
becoming an
road.
RV person.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. RV people, I love them, honestly. And it's nothing against RV people, but I get scared because if you've ever seen Stephen King's Dr. Sleep, which is actually the sequel to The Shining, the main antagonists are a group of RV demons. Yeah, I know.
Okay.
So I don't know, but I think of like a group of people that travel the country in RVs. I immediately think of that. I don't know. I wonder what RV person scared Stephen King. And inspired him to make that. But anyhow, we were there asking what I think is a very timely and fitting question, right?
Yeah. So there were some camping representatives at the RV show who were talking about the joys of disconnecting and camping, which is exactly what we were talking about because last week Verizon had an outage for a whole day.
Verizon customers forced to to rest and relax for a day away from your cell phone. I'm sure it probably wasn't all day, right? And we want to make sure that everybody realizes that this is not just Verizon. This has happened to pretty much every carrier. It happens from time to time, right? But what about if you didn't have a cell phone at all anymore? For whatever reason, the existing structure just isn't there. Nobody has any service. The phones won't load. What are you going to miss the most? For me, I'm not going to know where I am half the time. Seriously, I rely so heavily on my GPS, especially, not being a native of Western New York. I've only been here for almost a year, so I would have no idea how to get around.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm older, so I remember the days of just having a house phone. And there was actually some joys with that. You can't wait to get home to listen to, a message that you have on your answering machine. So it actually was kind of exciting. I remember I had this crush on a waiter at Denny's.
Okay.
And I was 18, and I went on Valentine's Day, and I gave him a card with my home phone number in it. And I said, I've crushed on you, call me. 11 days went by and no call, no nothing. I came home every day. So one day I lived with my grandparents. I came home and my grandma was like, somebody named Arthur left a, message on the answering machine. And I
Did you know his name?
Yes.
Okay.
He had
so
a name
you knew
tag
who
at
it
Denny's.
was, right?
Yes. So that was really exciting. That doesn't happen anymore. You give someone your cell phone number, they're probably texting you immediately. And if it's been 11 days, you block them. But anyways, so we asked people, what would you have to relearn? What would you miss the most about not having your cell phone service if you didn't have it anymore?
All right, let's take a look.
Let's take a look at what they said.
Of all places, the RV show.
The RV show at the Hamburg Fairgrounds. And it's the perfect place to talk about what people would do without cell phone service. You know,
That's
when
right.
you go camping, you don't really want to look at your cell phone. Most people don't. Verizon went out the other day. It was gone the whole day. Verizon customers were all in a frenzy.
Yeah.
So we're going to be asking people, you know, what they would miss the most if their cell phone went down for a day.
Yeah, you know, and it's not Verizon, right? This has happened with pretty much every carrier at some point.
Not
it
T-Mobile.
happens, right? Well, okay. And what a fitting place to talk about that, people considering buying RVs. Or will you leave your cell phone at home? We'll see what people have to say. Ladies first.
Let's go.
Resourcefulness.
Resourcefulness, how?
How? Just being able to know how to do things with your own brain, having the street smarts. That's what you gotta do without a phone.
What do you depend on your cell phone for the most?
Communication, I would say. Sending messages to friends and family.
How would people get a hold of you if you didn't have your cell phone?
Owls? Oh, wait, this isn't Harry Potter. I'm sorry.
They know where to find me. You know, I go to University at Buffalo, so I'm around.
I would imagine, yeah, as a truck driver, directions.
When I got my driver's license when I was 16, I don't know how I made it home from Darien Lake I didn't have a map, I didn't have a phone.
Concert? Were you
Follow
drinking?
Broadway.
No, I was 16.
Oh, sure. Okay.
No, I was riding roller coasters at 16.
Oh, okay.
But you think she had a,
I
yeah.
was thinking.
Yeah. We used to get maps I worked for the phone company, and to find customers, we used to pop open the paper book. Anytime we got sent out of town, we had to go to that town and buy a road map of the town that we were going to so we could find customers' addresses.
That's incredible.
You'd sit with your flashers on the side of the road and look up addresses on the map and then figure it out from there.
You had to like pull over,
Pull
right?
over.
Well, you had to, because if you were with a woman, you didn't want to ask her because you knew right off the bat.
You're gonna get lost.
Yeah, you're going nowhere with that.
But if you ask the man, he don't even want to ask for directions.
Right.
We just go and pretend like we knew.
Get lost.
Yeah, we
Get
just.
lost. 3
We're
hours
almost
later.
there. Just relax.
3 hours later, we would ask.
I don't know about you, but I could live in here. This is fun. Look at this. Oh, look, someone
TV.
someone was already sleeping. Angela, I don't know who's been.
Fridge.
Someone's been laying down on here. Get off of there. Come on. Come on now.
So Verizon, went down for the whole day.
We actually had Sabre tickets, and we downloaded them to the wallet before the outage went out.
Wow.
I do understand a lot of people have problems getting in.
So that's another thing. We'd have to go back to old-fashioned concert and event tickets.
I love that. I wish I had the paper tickets.
There's so many things just riding around with my fiance that my fiance sees and points out that I don't even see because I'm not observant because I'm on my phone, right? What do you depend on them? Oh, look!
Texting and on the phone, talking on the phone, FaceTiming. So if you have an iPhone.
Younger generation, us older generation, we want to be at peace. We want to be, know our neighbors, do stuff with our neighbors, and don't have to worry about the cell phone getting called for an emergency. We just want to be at peace.
Talking to other people, especially in college, like being away from home and talking to my parents and stuff.
I would have to say the interwebs, not being able to look things up at work, which I rely on that a lot, just as far as, looking up things that I need as far as, product and service. I didn't have any of that.
What is your job? What do you do for work?
I am a buildings and ground supervisor for public housing.
Okay. So you use your phone all day long to look
All
up
day, every day.
I do
information
too.
for that.
Yeah.
All day, every day.
Yeah, I can't imagine not having my phone.
Texting friends, and really calling everybody and looking at Instagram.
I actually don't have a cell phone.
Get out of here.
I have a landline still.
Am I being gaslighted?
No, you're not.
Really?
Well, how do you get around without a GPS?
I do have a GPS in my vehicle.
Oh, okay,
See?
okay.
Yeah.
So he's cheating a little bit.
It's built in.
How does your wife get a hold of you?
Calls me at work.
Yeah, call me crazy, but I'll be honest with you. When I talk to people on the phone, I always prefer to do it unless it's really private on speakerphone because I don't like the idea of this being right up against my head.
I just heard ringing coming from
No
this man's
long-term
pocket.
study. What?
I just heard ringing coming from his pocket, Rob.
Oh no.
To us, he's gaslighting
No, he
you.
doesn't. He really doesn't have a phone. He doesn't have a phone. All right, let's go. Oh, he had one all right.
They could have started ringing at a better time.
I was watching you, and I knew you were about to grab it right out of his pocket. And I said, nope, we got to get out of there. I don't want you getting charged.
No, I'm not going to let nobody lie to me.
Oh, no,
Are
they're
you
wet
throwing
my,
stuff
they're
at
wet my
me?
cap. Bottoms up.
Yeah, so you're right. GPS. Sometimes, like I'm staring at the GPS, I've almost gotten to where I don't even know the streets in Buffalo anymore. And I'm Uber driver. I've been doing it for 8 years. And
Yeah.
my map, sometimes if it freezes or something, I freak out because I'm like, how am I going to find it? So I've definitely gotten spoiled with the GPS.
No, the last time I looked at an actual map, I must have been like 7, 8 years old, just playing with one. My dad used to deliver oxygen and medical equipment when I was a kid. And so he had a big work van, and he had to use the map back then, to find where he was going and everything like that. So, that's the last time. Like, I would have no idea what to do if I didn't have my GPS. And a lot of people really depend on that. But the big question is, okay, if you don't have these cell phones, you don't have this means of communication, how are people going to communicate? How are you going to get a hold of people? What's going? Oh, meet me by that old fig tree at 5 o'clock, and then you're there, you're waiting, and there's no way to tell the other person that you're going to be late. Just a host of different problems. Like some people said that you would just have to like write letters.
Well, pagers were like right before your time, but you would.
I remember pagers.
Yeah, but
I mean, I never had. My parents had one, right?
Yeah. I actually never had a pager, which all my friends did. So I don't know why. I think
my dad gave me his broken one.
Yeah.
When it stopped working, I had to get a new one. He
Yeah.
gave me the other one to play with.
so. You
along
page
with
the
his Dolphins
person,
wallet.
where they can call you. So that's how they got a hold of each other back then. And you
Yeah.
just had to wait. You had to be patient. Patience doesn't exist anymore with cell phones.
So it's a big question is, if that happens, carrier pigeons making a comeback.
Exactly. And I was
Yeah.
saying like a can with a string, just strings all over town. Yeah, but it's, and it is a form of anxiety. If I wake up earlier than I want to wake up, I make a point not to even look at my phone because there's so much information just thrown at your face first thing in the morning, and then you're anxious and you want to click on it.
Yeah, we need to do a better job of putting our phones down.
I feel like we're more
That's
stressed.
not everybody, right? But it's me, certainly. I alluded to the fact that when just driving down the road, when my fiance's driving, I'm in the passenger seat and I'm just scrolling away, or I'm sending an email, sending a text, not even looking and seeing some of the very interesting people that you find across Buffalo. I find I'm missing things, and that's just one example of many. I mean, there's a lot of people that you go out to dinner, you're waiting for the food. You know what I mean? Like that used to be a time where, where people would catch up and talk about their days. How many, take a look at the people that you live with, right? And how often they're on their phones. And when you sit down to dinner with them, or you're sitting in the living room with them, think about all the conversations that you would have, the details that they would share with you about their day that they don't, because that time is then spent on their phones.
Yeah.
Like, and I say that because there's things that, that I'm not finding out, funny things or whatever, or just little details about, my fiance's job that, that he doesn't tell me right away because, we're both doing our own thing in the phone and everything. And I'm finding out a week later. That's a prime example, is like that conversation has been lost in this total information age that we're in, right? That's dominated by these little phones in our hands that we spend all our time on.
But I also feel like it keeps me connected to my friends that have moved. I have a lot of friends that have moved to other states, and Snapchat is the only way we communicate now. And my favorite thing about cell phones is a camera and a video camera in your pocket, just 24/7.
Oh God, digital cameras, man.
I remember I carried one around. So I'd go to the bar and I'd have my cell phone and my digital camera and be walking around with those. But they send me videos of their kids growing up that I wouldn't normally see because they're in another state. So I do appreciate that. It does help with communication in that way.
Yeah, certainly. And, a lot of people talked about that, how thankful they are that we have this technology, that we are so connected. So, the more that you think about it, right, a blessing and a curse. But with anything that's new, and yes, these smartphones in the grand scheme of things are considered new. They may have been around for, 15, 20 years, maybe, you know what I mean? But like that's still relatively new. We're still, as a society, in my opinion, adapting to that, right? So, hopefully the societal communicative issues that we have centered around this technology over time will figure themselves out and resolve itself, if you will. And that's really something that we're seeing from our elected officials right now, or campaigns to get outside, get moving, explore nature, visit a state park so that you can decompress, without having to be on your phone. Because
no cell phones in schools. We covered that in one of our episodes.
One of our earliest episodes last season. So a lot more people, though, we did talk to at the RV show who really theorized on where we're going to go if something like that, God forbid, did happen, where we found ourselves all without service, or access to our cell phones. How would we communicate if that was something that took a while to get back up, and you're talking weeks or even, God forbid, months where you don't have that? How do you communicate with your parents, your siblings, your partner? That's the big question here. Carrier pigeons? I don't know. People had their theories, so let's take a look. Maybe I don't get a mortgage and buy a house in a year. Maybe I get can you get a mortgage for an RV?
Yeah.
You can?
You can, yes.
Huh.
They're about the price of a small home. When I'm out to dinner with my boyfriend and he looks at his phone, I say the same exact thing every single time. I say, oh, I thought we were on a date.
I need my banking apps.
How many people are logging on to check their balances every single day?
I don't.
I can't. You don't? He didn't have to for so long,
You
right?
know why?
Why?
My wife does it.
Oh, we have a crowd. That crowd is crowded around here.
Kids.
Wow.
My granddaughter.
Look at them holding the fours up. That's right. Raise your hand if you have a cell phone. You do. What do you need the most when it comes to using your cell phone?
So you can't, call 911 if you didn't have a phone for, emergencies.
How old are you?
9.
You are the first one to bring up that very important point. Thank you so much. Absolutely. If you don't have a cell phone, you can't call 911.
Unfortunately, we spend too much time on social media nowadays. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm guilty of that.
So you're saying that you would miss the Facebook?
We miss it.
He missed the Facebook. He's Facebook.
Scrolling, always scrolling to see what's out there.
How often is he Facebooking?
A lot.
He is? Wow. Okay.
He's always on his phone 24/7.
What do you use your cell phone for the most, you think? What do you depend on it the most for?
Calling and checking into my daughter.
So it's like the communication factor.
Yeah,
So if we didn't have that element, what, in your opinion, how else would we communicate?
Well, we could actually talk to each other. So I think that's a whole big thing on camping, communication, but it's fun communication. So we communicate at our pools, our playgrounds, our jump pads, togetherness. And besides that, of course, you have the old-fashioned ways of communicating. But yeah, I think the camping industry is not about so much of communication in the external world. It's about communication internally.
Absolutely. It certainly is. And I hope that everyone watching this episode is encouraged to visit Sleepy Hollow Lake Campground because it seems like a lot of fun.
People text, instead of talking to each other, they could be in the same room when they're texting.
A lot of people actually prefer to text more than even talking on the phone.
Yeah, I like talking on the phone.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too.
I'm a basic kind of guy. I miss my flip phone.
It's like a take it or leave it, right?
Right.
Wasn't the flip phone fun where if you got mad at somebody, you could just flip it shut with an attitude?
The Motorola Razr? Yeah. Oh, you heard that from a mile away. Are these stickers?
Yeah.
I would love to have one.
Our 50th season this year.
Rob loves stickers.
Yeah, I have an old sticker shelf that instead of refurbishing, I just put stickers all over it. You set the table up right here. You're sitting here. You've got like a mountain view right here, and the Bills game. Yeah, well, this clearly isn't. We're not going to talk about the Bills game. Yeah, no. I believe I'm starting to get fired up just thinking about it.
Phone numbers.
Phone numbers.
Yeah, you don't remember phone numbers like you used to.
Yeah. I wanted to follow up with you about the bank thing. Can you imagine actually having to go to the bank to check your balance?
God, no.
Yeah, that would be really awful.
I don't do anything going to a bank anymore, really, unless I
Yeah.
really have to. We live in the sticks, too, so, I mean, a bank's 15 minutes from me every time, so it's not right around the corner either.
What an incredible time I had here at the RV show. You know, I would not have thought that I would have had so much fun at the RV show and left bankrupt because I just bought that mansion back there. No, I'm just kidding. What would you do if you didn't have a cell phone? And let me tell you, some people brought up some really big points, some things that I think maybe we take for granted.
Yep, emergency services, being able to contact them, directions, knowing people's phone numbers. So yeah, we got a lot of good answers today.
Yeah,
what would you miss the most?
Well, what I miss the GPS, honestly. I can't even begin to try. I would be riding around for hours lost. I can't even wrap my head around it.
I miss
Seriously.
my calculator. Remember when teachers in school used to say, you're not gonna have a calculator in your pocket? Well, guess what? Joke's on you, I got a calculator in my pocket.
And I also want to know, how people would communicate. Will you meet up? Are the carrier pigeons making a comeback? What would you do if you didn't have your cell phone?
The tin can with the string.
That's a long string.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. The conversation clearly continues. Maybe it'll continue in a neighborhood near you on the next episode of For the Streets. Hopefully we never have to find out, but I guess we'll find out if and when, God forbid, that day comes where we, all of us lose service. We don't have access to our cell phones. How do you communicate? No real answer, but people theorize that, you would meet up, carrier pigeons. I don't know. That would take time to train them. I don't think that. I think cell phones be back up and running before we train the pigeons.
Well, we talked about this before. The next thing coming up that I am definitely going to get my hands on this year is the Meta glasses, where you can just, scroll through the lens of the glasses. I'm going to get those. And you have like a bracelet you put on your wrist. All you do is move your finger around and it scrolls the
Now I'll be able to block
glasses.
those scammers with my eyelashes. I'll be like, nope. See you later.
Yeah, you can look at things. I can't wait to get my hands on one of those. It's so futuristic.
Yeah, they're expensive though, right?
They're like $800.
Yeah. Oh.
I spend like $400 or $500 on my regular eyeglasses now. So
I did try to get one on the little card, that you get with your health insurance. Some plans have it, and it covered it, but I needed a prescription.
I do have a prescription, but I also get nervous too because sometimes I say things that I don't want other people to hear me say, and pretty soon people are going to be having these glasses on recording you.
Yeah,
taking a secret video of you, and you wouldn't even know.
You just have to, give up and give in and accept that, no matter where you are, with the exception of maybe your own home, you could be recorded. I mean, that's a total information age society that we live in today.
I'm just an oversharer. So I'm not going to say anything insulting. I'm just going to probably overshare very personal information that I wouldn't want a video of to be recorded.
It's not bad to be transparent, right?
True.
Some people can be too transparent. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyhow, well, listen, I had a lot of fun at the RV show. A lot of fun talking about this, what I think is an interesting topic, right, on the heels of that outage. And that happens from time to time, and even people finding themselves in an area that, those few and far between dead zones, they do still exist in certain spots.
Yeah.
I know, because I've been in them, where the GPS just drops, or you can't make that call, you can't send that text. So this was a timely topic, and it was interesting to see, what people thought and how they felt about, something that you're so engrossed in that, oftentimes you don't even realize it.
Yeah. So, like I said, luckily T-Mobile has not gone down, at least since I've had them. I really like T-Mobile. I wonder how many Verizon people switched to something else that day. They were probably
possible.
really mad. Our manager, Danilo, said that Verizon credited everyone $20 per line. So his wife has 3 lines. She got $60. Was that
Wow.
enough?
That's not bad.
I don't know. Yeah.
No, I mean,
guess.
that's the thing, though. It happens.
It's something.
It happens, happens to the best of them.
I still don't think we know exactly why or what happened.
Yeah, we'll have to look
We
into
may
that.
never
Yeah,
know.
we will have to look into that. I don't think did they give a cause?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll have to look that up. But yeah, what another episode of For the Streets. For the Pauls is on the way. We'll keep you posted on that. We're having things produced for that, so it's very exciting. Once a month, For the Pauls will be a spinoff of For the Streets, where we're going to help home some animals that cats and dogs, right? Because we're for the Pauls. Both have paws, right?
Yep,
So
yep.
find them. They're forever home. Very excited about that. So that's on the horizon as well. And Lord only knows what we're going to be talking about next week.
Yep. So we will see you next time on For the Streets.
Streets.